In Venezuela, the National Civil Aviation Institution revoked the authorization to operate in the country for 6 international airlines for unilaterally canceling flights to the country, following a notice from foreign authority. General elections are underway in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to renew 15 seats in Parliament. The election contest is between Prime Minister Gonçalves' Labour Party and the New Democratic Party. The Palestinian resistance announced that the Zionist occupiers summarily executed fighters who remain besieged in the Rafah tunnels. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We'll be with the news. Stay with us. The National Civil Aviation Institute of Venezuela revoked the authorization to operate in the country for 6 international airlines for the unilaterally canceling flights to Venezuela following a notice from a foreign authority. The decision, published in the official Gazette of the Bolivarian nation, specifies that the measures has been taken against Iberia, TAP, Avianca, and Airlines, Turkish Airlines, and Gold Airlines. The agency also stated that these companies joined the state terrorism actions promoted by the United States government by unilaterally suspending their operations to Venezuela based on a notice issued by an aviation authority without jurisdiction in the country. As general elections are underway in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we go live to Kingston with our special envoy, Belén de los Santos, who will tell us more of this significant date. Hello, Belén, tell us about it.
Hello, Anna. Exactly as you were saying, we are starting this general elections here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Polls have been open since 7 a.m. It's 8:40 a.m. local time right now. And as you can see right behind me, the people are already in line. They are exercising their right to vote. Let's recall, we are at the St. George East constituency at this moment. We are talking about general elections in St. Vincent that are underway to elect 15 of the representatives of the Assembly, the one camera of the Parliament. Those 15 representatives, one per each of those constituencies that make up St. Vincent and the Grenadines, those will elect the Prime Minister. So whoever wins the most constituencies out of the 15, those will be the one to elect, of course, the Prime Minister. Both parties that are participating in this election are the incumbent, the ruling government of the ULP, the Unity Labour Party of Prime Minister Gonçalves at this moment, that is looking to revalidate, and also for the opposition, the New Democratic Party, the NDP. And as we were saying, this is constituency by constituency, vote by vote. In this case, we are in St. George East. One of the things to keep in mind is that in this case, in St. George East, the candidate for the representative at the Assembly is Camilo Gonçalves, the current Minister of Finance and Economic Planning here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and also the son of Prime Minister Gonçalves, one of the most prominent figures of the ULP. And people are coming here. We've been looking at the numbers. Let's recall that St. Vincent and the Grenadines has a 110,000 population nationwide. Over 100, close to 101,000 are registered to vote. And one curious thing is that for a country where the vote is non-mandatory, it tends to have very high participation numbers. People are expecting around a 70% in this case. And because people know that every vote counts, we are looking at constituencies that have been defined by 100 votes, by less than 100 votes, by 1 vote was one of the options of last election. So we'll be following close this process. It will continue. Polls will be open until 5 p.m. But of course, if the lines continue, they will continue to be open, and we'll be covering the whole day. So Anna, you stay tuned because we'll have more information.
Thank you, Ellen, for the information. I will keep you for the next news brief because we know you have more to tell us. Thank you. And we will continue with our news. On Wednesday in Haiti, the transitional government set a date for the presidential elections. The first round will be held on August 30, 2026. And if a second round is required, it will take place on December 6th of the same year. The timetable of the Provisional Electoral Council foresees that the new authorities will take office on January 20, 2027. Let's take our very first break, but remember you can join us on our TikTok account as teleSUR English, where you'll be able to see news in different formats, news updates, and more. Stay tuned because we'll be right back. Welcome back to From the South. In Honduras, the international far right and the United States government continue interfering in the country's elections by campaigning in favor of bipartisanship. Recently, U.S. President Donald Trump and El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele joined the international campaign that has already had voices such as the Venezuelan far-right politician Maria Corina Machado and U.S. Congresswoman Maria Elvira Salazar, who seek to promote external pressure in complicity with the bipartisan candidate Nasril Azafura and Salvador Nasrallah. This offensive, denounced by the government and the Libre Party for the violating electoral sovereignty, exposes contradictions within the global far right, which fails to achieve unanimously support for its candidates and divides opinions within the bipartisan bloc. Several delegations of international observers are arriving in Honduras who will keep their eyes on the elections next Sunday. Many of them are questioning the attempts at intervention by movements, countries, and figures of the global far right who seek to obstruct the democratic process of a sovereign nation. From Tegucigalpa, our correspondent Roberto Gopresa has the details.
More than 6.5 million Hondurans have been called to participate in Sunday's general elections. Ahead of the votes, official sectors have denounced plans of fraud and international interference promoted by the right-wing bipartisan bloc. The director of the Center for Cooperation and International Exchange finds it strange that abroad there is a talk of possible unrest, when the reality here is different.
I've been here for 4 days, and this country is absolutely calm, it must be said. People are safeguarding their vote, defending their vote, and that seems to me to be exactly what every people does, right?
A lo que hace todo pueblo. La única agresividad que veo.
The only aggressiveness I see is from a very hard, very strong right wing, which does not acknowledge any of the achievements that have been made.
Nada de los logros que han habido.
Philippe Ristic is
a French political scientist, author of the book Venezuela, the Democracy That Is, a critique of the spread of false information in media and social networks about Venezuela's 2024 electoral process. He notes with concern that the same script is now being applied in Honduras.
El relato es el mismo.
Because the narrative is the same, there is a government, a power located on the radical left, that seeks a better distribution of wealth, more social justice, more economic justice, and environmental justice, as well, and that troubles a part of the political spectrum in Venezuela, as in Honduras, which is commonly called the oligarchy.
Llama comúnmente la oligarquía.
Other international observers reacted with indignation to the intervention of far-right figures, such as U.S. Congresswoman María Elvira Salazar and Venezuelan politician María Corina Machado.
Un intento gravísimo de intervención.
I see this as a very serious attempt at intervention in matters that belong solely to the sovereignty of the Honduran people. I believe the most recent example we can see of this strategy was in Venezuela.
En Venezuela, justamente para crear un ambiente que le
precisely to create an atmosphere that would allow sectors dissatisfied with the results to reject the people's verdict, proclaim themselves winners, and thereby drag the country into a spiral of political instability.
una espiral de inestabilidad política.
The National Electoral Council has planned for more than 6,000 observers, both national and international, to be deployed throughout the country to verify the conduct of the process. Hondurans will go to the polls next Sunday to elect their new president, members of the National Congress, mayors, and deputies to the Central American Parliament.
Roberto Hugo Presa, teleSUR, Tegucigalpa, Honduras.
Let's take a last break, but before we invite you to visit our Facebook page at teleSUR English. There you'll be able to watch our top stories, special live coverage, and much more. Follow our page and activate the notification button to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. One financial break, don't go away. Welcome back. On Thursday, Pope Leo XIV arrived in Turkey, where he will begin the first apostolic journey of his papacy. The Pope was greeted with military honors as he disembarked off the plane by Turkey's Minister of Culture and Tourism, Mehmet Nurierso. His visit is steeped in symbolism, commemorating the 1,700th anniversary of the First Council of Nicaea and featuring key meetings calling for peace and dialogue in a region considered many to be the cradle of Christianity, with stops in Ankara, Izmir, and Istanbul from Thursday to Sunday. When he will depart for Lebanon, the Pope seeks to emphasize the search for peace and dialogue during his meetings with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and his leaders and representatives of the other faiths. And we move on. The Palestinian resistance once again denounced that the Zionist occupiers insist on undermining the ceasefire, accusing them of summarily executing fighters who remain besieged in the Rafah tunnels. Although the agreement guarantees the lives of the fighters, and Zionism had a commitment to the United States to resolve the situation of those who remain trapped, they continue executing them. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, warned on Wednesday that children in Lebanon continue to be exposed to violence despite a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah and mark its first anniversary this week. According to the agency, 13 children have died and more than 140 have been injured since the agreement came into force. In this regard, the organization's representative in the country, Marco Luigi Corsi, pointed out that the attacks continue to put children at risk and state that kids are far from being safe. In China, a huge fire in a Hong Kong apartment complex has killed 50 people and nearly 300 missing. According to the police, the fire might have spread due to the unsafe scaffolding that the found materials used during maintenance work. In this context, the Hong Kong police have arrested 3 men on suspicion of voluntary manslaughter for their alleged responsibility in the fire in the Tai Po district. The arrestees, aged between 52 and 68, are linked to the construction company responsible for the renovation work at the Wan Fu Court apartment complex. We have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our socials around Facebook, X, and on Instagram as well. For Telesur English and from the South, I'm Ana Marrero. Thank you for watching.